Is this really how Mike Evans' time in Tampa Bay ends? That question suddenly feels real. And it matters because one of the most consistent wide receivers of this era may be on the verge of testing free agency, with multiple contenders watching closely. For more than a decade, Evans has been synonymous with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 12 seasons, a Super Bowl title, year after year of 1,000-yard production. Loyalty defined his career. But now, as his contract runs out and retirement speculation lingers, the situation feels different. According to a report shared by the NFL Rumors X page, the Houston Texans are expected to show interest in Buccaneers free agent Mike Evans. The post added that multiple teams could be involved, including the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, and the Baltimore Ravens. That alone shifts the conversation, because if Evans does hit the open market, this won't be a quiet decision about finishing a career in familiar colors. It could become one of the most interesting veteran receiver storylines in the league. Let's start with Houston. The Texans, valued at $7.25 billion, have quickly become one of the AFC's rising teams behind quarterback C.J. Stroud. They've built a roster that competes defensively, and they've shown flashes offensively. But last season exposed a clear reality. Only Nico crossed the 1,000-yard receiving mark. Despite Collins' 6-touchdown season and the Texans' defensive strengths, the offense didn't have enough consistency to make a deeper postseason push. Once again, they couldn't advance beyond the wild card round. That's where the idea of Evans becomes compelling. Even at 32, he has proven that when healthy, he remains productive. As recently as 2024, he was still putting together 1,000-yard seasons. His ability to win contested catches, stretch the field, and operate in the red zone has not disappeared. What changed in 2025 was availability. Hamstring issues disrupted his season. He appeared in just 8 regular season games. In those limited appearances, he totaled 368 yards and 3 touchdowns. Respectable numbers given the circumstances, but far from his established standard. And here's the detail that adds emotional weight to all of this. 2025 was the only season in Mike Evans' career in which he failed to cross 1,000 receiving yards. That streak had become part of his identity. It symbolized reliability in a league that rarely offers it. For it to end in an injury-shortened season raises a natural question. Does he want his career narrative to close on that note? Baker Mayfield doesn't think so. During an appearance on the Ron Barber Show, Mayfield addressed the speculation surrounding Evans' future. He didn't claim insider knowledge. He didn't pretend to know what Evans will ultimately decide. But he spoke from experience. "I don't have to really plea with it," Mayfield said. "Because Mike's too much of a competitor and cares too much about Tampa to end his career without 1,000 yards, without a division championship, without a playoff run. And that, first of all, speaks to who Mike is." That quote reveals something important. This isn't just about contracts or roster construction. It's about pride, about legacy, about how a player views the final chapter of his career. Mayfield continued by emphasizing that he doesn't have inside information. He told Evans to take his time and make the decision that feels right. But he made it clear that, based on who Evans is as a competitor, he believes the story isn't over. Understanding who Mike is, that is my guess, that he didn't want it to end this way, Mayfield said. That perspective carries weight because over the past 3 seasons, Evans has been Mayfield's most trusted target. In 2023 and 2024 combined, Evans recorded 24 touchdown receptions. When Tampa Bay needed a play near the goal line or on a crucial third down, the ball often went in his direction. The 2025 season felt different precisely because he wasn't there consistently. Without Evans on the field, the Buccaneers missed the playoffs for the first time in a while. The offense lacked the same structure and reliability. Defenses didn't have to account for his presence snap after snap. And yet, there's another layer to this story. In 2024, Evans signed a 2-year, $41 million contract extension with Tampa Bay. That deal is now expiring. From a business standpoint, the Buccaneers have to evaluate where they stand. They've added young talent, including rookie Emeka Egbuka, who impressed in his debut season. Depth at wide receiver is not the same concern it once was. So the organization faces a familiar crossroads. Do they commit more resources to a 32-year-old receiver coming off an injury-affected season? Or do they pivot toward youth and flexibility? From Houston's perspective, the calculation is different. Stroud is still early in his career. Surrounding a young quarterback with veteran experience is often one of the safest investments a franchise can make. Evans would bring more than production. He would bring perspective from deep playoff runs and a Super Bowl victory. He has operated in high-pressure environments. He understands how to prepare through adversity. That matters for a team trying to transition from promising to consistent contender. But Houston isn't alone in monitoring this situation. The Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens were also mentioned as potential suitors. Each of those teams has quarterback stability. Each of them has championship aspirations. And each of them could justify adding a veteran receiver who knows how to perform when it matters most. Still, there's a contrast between interest and reality. Interest doesn't guarantee pursuit, and pursuit doesn't guarantee fit. Evans would have to decide what he values most at this stage. Is it familiarity and unfinished business in Tampa Bay? Is it the opportunity to pair with a rising quarterback like Stroud? Or is it joining an established AFC contender for one more championship run? Another factor complicates the narrative. Retirement speculation has not disappeared. Even though Mayfield believes Evans will return in 2026, the fact that the conversation exists signals uncertainty. 12 seasons is a long time in the NFL. The physical toll is undeniable. And injuries, particularly recurring soft tissue issues, can influence how a veteran views his future. Yet the competitor in him, as described by his own quarterback, may resist the idea of leaving on a season defined by limitations rather than impact. That internal tension is what makes this story compelling. From a pure football perspective, Evans still offers traits that don't age quickly. Size, catch radius, red zone awareness. Those qualities remain valuable even if overall snap counts decline. The question becomes durability and role. Would a team view him as a primary option or as a complementary piece? In Houston, he could serve as a steady veteran presence alongside Nico. With the Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens, he might become part of a rotational attack built around established systems. In Tampa Bay, he would remain the familiar anchor. There's also the emotional side. Evans has spent his entire professional career in the National Conference with the Buccaneers. Switching to the AFC South would represent not just a team change, but a conference shift and a redefinition of identity. Few players stay with one franchise for more than a decade. Fewer still leave voluntarily when their name has become part of the organization's history. So when Baker Mayfield says he can't imagine Evans wanting it to end this way, it resonates beyond optimism. It reflects the bond built over shared seasons, shared wins, and shared setbacks. But football decisions rarely hinge on sentiment alone. If the Buccaneers believe Emeka Egbuka's development gives them long-term stability at the position, they may prioritize cap flexibility. If Evans believes another environment offers a clearer path to immediate contention, he may listen. And if Houston decides that adding a veteran to support Stroud is worth the investment, they could become a serious player in this market. At its core, this situation forces a broader question about timing. When is the right moment for a respected veteran to move on? Before decline becomes obvious? After one more strong season? Or only when the body says enough? For Evans, the 2025 season interrupted the rhythm that defined his career. But it didn't erase his track record. Teams understand that context matters. The Texans see a chance to add experience to a roster still learning how to navigate playoff expectations. The Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens see potential depth and reliability. The Buccaneers see a franchise icon weighing his options. And Evans sees the totality of his journey. A Super Bowl ring from Super Bowl 55. 12 seasons in one city. A standard of consistency that rarely faltered until injuries intervened. What happens next will reveal what he values most. If he returns to Tampa Bay, it will likely be with the goal of restoring that 1,000-yard standard and pushing for another division championship. If he signs elsewhere, it will signal that he believes a new setting offers the best chance to write a final chapter on his terms. For now, all that exists is interest and interpretation. Reports suggest Houston is ready to engage. Other contenders are monitoring. Mayfield believes the competitor in his teammate isn't ready to close the book. But ultimately, this decision belongs to Evans, and whichever direction he chooses will ripple beyond one roster. It will influence how we remember his career. Not the numbers themselves, but the ending. So here's the question for you. If you were in Mike Evans' position, would you prioritize loyalty and unfinished business in Tampa Bay? Or take the opportunity to join a team like Houston and chase a different path to contention? Share your perspective below. Thoughtful debate is always welcome.